Bangladesh batting first, 242 for the loss of 5 at the end of day one. You're watching Anything Cricket Test Match Watch. Welcome to Wayne Holder and Ayana Holder, my co-host, and our special guest today, Hartley Reid, the former cricket administrator. You will notice that I paused before he said former, because who knows these days. You've got Peter Edwards looking to make a comeback as a fast bowler at what, 39? And I would think that Hartley Reid, although he's probably 2 or 3 times that age, as an administrator, it is very possible to make a comeback at any age, virtually, as long as you've got your faculties working and about you. So welcome to one and all as we look at the first day of the first test match between Bangladesh and the West Indies. And I think it's only fair that we start with our special invited guests who would have lost a lot of sleep in watching the opening day's play. Hartley, what's your general take on the first day's proceedings?
Hello, Philip, Wayne, and Ayana. Happy to be with you today. I am overall quite happy at the performance of the West Indies team. Let me start by saying congratulations to Nkrumah Bonner, to Kyle Mears, and also to Shane Mosley for receiving their caps. It is still, in my view, one of the greatest, if not the greatest honor for any cricketer to play, any Caribbean cricketer to play for the West Indies. And Bonner, no stranger to West Indies cricket. In fact, I'm sure Ayana is the baby, but Bonner was in Barbados at the University of West Indies Cape campus playing for the CCC and all of those, and up there for years. Bonner he actually learned his cricket in Barbados because he was Jamaican born, but all of his cricket at our first division level and such. So I was very happy for him. And Kyle Mears, fortunate enough for me, I managed Kyle Mears back in 2015 when Barbados Pride played in Trinidad and Tobago in the regional 50 over. And Kyle Mears was then a fast bowler and swinging it at pace. So he has lost most of that pace, but he still swings the white ball. And I'm quite happy for him. And Mosley, well, he has paid his dues. He has played for Wanderers and Barbados Pride. And yes, I'm quite happy to see how they have fitted in. And the team performed well.
Okay, so Wayne, let's hear from you.
Well, the story of the day for me surrounds something that did not happen, because I am flabbergasted, amazed, and please help me with some other adjectives, as to why Raymond Reefer is not in this 11. Is something wrong with Raymond Reefer? Somebody please tell me that something is wrong with Raymond Reefer, fitness-wise or otherwise, because as far as, like I said, the story of the day for me is that Raymond Reefer did not make the first 11 for the West Indies in this first test. If I may go a bit further, and if I want to offer congratulations to anyone, yes, it is, as Hartley pointed out, quite an honor, and I'm happy for the young men who made their respective debut. And I don't know if she would ever hear this, I hope she does, but I would like to say special congratulations to Monica Mosley, Shane Mosley's mom, a very, very good longtime friend of mine, who once told me some years back when Shane was still playing under 15 cricket that he promised her, "Mommy, I'm going to play international cricket, don't you worry." And I'm happy to see that it has come true, both his and her dream.
Well, I know that Ayana Holder is normally in the know, as they say. And therefore, she may very well be able to offer that insight into the missing Raymond Reefer, or I would say the reasons for the missing Raymond Reefer. Ayana, it's all yours.
Unfortunately, I don't have the privilege to have the deals this time. I don't know if y'all know though, But I now have two cousins, one a cousin and the other second cousin, who has represented the West Indies at the test level. Kyle Mears is that second person, and it blessed my heart last night to see him receive his cap. And I said, "Aha! I have two test players in the family, one from both sides." So congratulations to Kyle, Shane, and Bonner. Bonner has been around for quite a long time, and I hope that the international stage is the stage for him. Just like Wayne, I was a bit surprised at Raymond Riffer's exclusion, but overall a bit pleased at the showing on the first day. Hope that we can carry on that consistency and discipline in the match.
How would you have gotten Raymond Reaper into the side, Ayana?
Well, with Jason Holder's absence, I thought that it was an automatic replacement, as he is, well, to me in my mind, the next all-rounder. He has played, I think, one or two test matches already. So I thought that Raymond would have been given the nod as and in addition his left arm pace. But in this case, it seems as though the selectors have gone for a stronger batsman, and Kyle is also a very strong bowler, even though he has not bowled a lot in the last season of 4-day cricket. So it's a bit of a balance for me, but I just initially thought that Raymond would have played.
Wayne, how would Raymond have made your side?
Well, as I mentioned, again, as Ayana said quite clearly, Raymond Reefer has been that person waiting in the wings. He has been kept out of West Indies cricket mainly because Jason Holder has done so well, and I would imagine that there wasn't a need for two of them. But the next best all-round cricketer in the West Indies to fill that particular spot for me would have been Raymond Reefer. But as has been observed by some of the others, I believe the selectors wait for the batting advantage, the batting value that Kyle Mears brings to the team as against Raymond's strength, which is really his bowling. And for me personally, I would have wanted the bowling to bolster the bowling attack with Raymond Reefer. Ayana mentioned it, Kyle Mears, Hartley talked about him being a fast, very quick, well, quite quick bowler in earlier times. But I have noticed that since the operation, remember Kyle went off cricket for quite a while because of a surgical procedure he had. I can't remember exactly to what part of the anatomy, but he, since coming back, his bowling has not really, he has continued to bowl, but his bowling has really not stood out. But what he has done is that he has concentrated more on his batting. And as I said previously in another program, that Kyle Mears' claim to playing West Indies team is really for his strong batting performance during the last regional 4-day competition. But as I said, the selectors going for the batting, bolstering the batting. I personally would have preferred a Raymond Reefer because of his strength in the bowling. And of course, you know Philip Hackett, his prowess with the bat when it comes to stickability and his in that area of fighting kind of player in that lower order who has had two opportunities at the test level, has not been a failure, Jason Holder is out. And I thought automatically he would have been the man to take the position.
But realistically, though, guys, you've watched, you've followed regional cricket, West Indies cricket as much as I have, and can we really be surprised though, given the lack of planning that is often shown in terms of building a regional side? You talked about his stickability. I'm not against. I'm happy. I'm as happy for Kyle Mears and all those who've been selected as anybody else. But I have sat on many occasions in first-class cricket and watched or listened to Raymond Reefer frustrate bowling sides with his batting. So I'm not going to argue that his bowling may not be his greatest strength. But here's a player who has demonstrated at the first-class level over a period of time that he can contribute significantly with the bat. So really and truly, I was as surprised as you. No, not really surprised because they said given what I've seen, the patterns I've seen over the years, very little surprises me about selections. But I was maybe as disappointed as you guys were with his non-selection in the first test. But let's look at the first day's play though. Who would you say enjoyed the better of the first day's play?
Well, 2 out of 3 sessions, I would say, went to the West Indies. They lost it a bit in the last hour and a half or so. Shakib and Leighton Das pretty much started to attack a little more and probably give themselves a late advantage in the afternoon, as not to lose any more wickets. So I think I would give West Indies the honors on day one, having won 2 out of the 3 sessions.
Hartley?
Yes, Ayana made it clear when she talked about her position relative to Raymond Rifa vis-a-vis young mayors. Because mayors did make it, because you remember people, we are playing in in Bangladesh. They do not even think about fast bowling. The Bangladesh itself has played one fast bowler. You could imagine they have one fast bowler and all the other and 4 spinners. So why would then we would even contemplate playing Shannon Gabriel, Kemar Roach, and also Raymond Rifa? Doesn't make sense, because that means then that somebody would have to suffer somewhere, either the batting or the spinning department. And we would have, in fact, I was quite surprised initially when commentators were talking about the composition of the touring party, and they were making comments about the number of spin bowlers. We have to go to Bangladesh with slow bowling. Those pitches will never help our medium pacers. And last night, Bangladesh showed us up front. They are going into the game with spin. So once again, David May, and once again, Ayana, 2 out of 3, and we only got that, and not 3 out of 3, because I do not know if Craig Baffett was actually listening to the commentators, because in the 88th over, well, that was being bowled, Bishop and the young lady that was commentated with him talked about the new ball. But I said, no way. There is no way you can have Cornwall and Warwick bowling so tightly. I mean, you were getting 1, 2, maximum 3 runs with that ball, that prevailing ball, and then a number of maidens. So when the new ball was due at 80 overs, I said, well, that can't come, because how many spin bowlers in our region can bowl with a new ball, especially a new red ball? Not many. So when I saw the umpire then on the sideline with the ball in hand, and at the end of the over, he goes and it goes onto the field of play, and then the captain took the new ball and put it in Warken's hand. And I don't know if you all recognize when Warken fitted the ball, the seam in between his fingers, he went. I said, because the sharpness of the new ball, the seam, I saw where he repelled it with it. First over, he bowled 2 fours. If we had continued, but subsequent, I heard the commentators again, Bishop and the young lady, saying that it was said that the ball was a bit soft. But if the ball was soft, so much better. It would not go to the boundary as quickly as that new ball, because they went from less than 200 runs up to the close of play, 245. There is no way that could happen. And I will whisper something here to you people. I'm a bit older than all of you. in the heyday of West Indies cricket, with our Dobermans, our 4 Dobermans, when we have the last half hour or even the last hour play with a new ball, wouldn't get a wicket at all. We just spread the ball all over the place. That it is not our forte to get the wickets in the last hour of play with any new ball. So once again, it proved me correct.
I would want to support a lot of what you say, Hartley, as regarding that new ball situation. I mean, and I go no further than the last ball of the 80th over. You remember what happened? Cornwall bowled to the guy Leighton Das off the inside edge, and Bonner at short leg put down a sharp catch. It wasn't an easy catch.
No, you're being a bit too
It
kind.
was a sharp catch.
That was a simple
which
catch.
Which we have seen taken before.
It
Now,
had to
what
shot
that-
because it was close.
Right, so when that happened, I told myself that the captain doesn't want any more reinforcement to understand that there's no need for a new ball here. No, not only that, Warwican and Cornwall were into a groove. They were into a really nice, the guy Leighton Das could not get the ball away. And I thought, well, no, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to continue with my spinners at least for a few more overs. If maybe after another 5 overs or so, I don't get the breakthrough, then I can give my fast bowlers the last 4 or 5 overs with a brand new ball and look to prize out one of the 2 batsmen. Philip asked the question as to who enjoyed the better of the first day. I think it was relatively even. West Indies just letting it slip slightly. I mean, the Bangladeshi scored over 100 runs in the final session. But I think a lot of that had to do with the partnership between the 2 most experienced players in the Bangladesh side, because Mushfiqur Rahim and Shakib Al Hassan, they brought a completely different approach. Other batsmen who had gone before them. And you know, early o'clock in that last session, I was able to devise to myself, you know what, these guys have decided that they're not going to be dictated to. And you saw 2 men who were prepared to use their feet to come down the wicket to the spin bowlers, who were able to use their feet to go deep into the crease and provide for freeing their arms so that they can score. These guys were looking to score, whereas the previous batsmen before them all looked to survive. So we saw the real experience and the class of Rahim and Shakib Al Hassan coming to the fore. But I thought, again, Jamel Warwican bowled brilliantly, particularly in that middle session. He was really into a groove. He was really spinning. He had the ball dipping. He was using the angles of the crease, different paces he was using. He was fantastic in that middle session. And I really enjoyed watching him bowl. He had the luck. Cornwall bowled some good balls, bowled some good spells, was a bit unlucky along the way. But it's just a matter of time before Cornwall comes into this thing. And I expect Cornwall to get a few of these last 5 wickets that are in hand with Bangladesh.
You know, guys, what comes through to me, partly from listening, partly from my own thoughts before, the importance of taking these spinners, as Hartley would have mentioned just now, and the fact that Bangladesh has 4 spinners. Bangladesh doesn't only have 4 spinners. Bangladesh has 4 good spinners. And I think sometimes we concentrate too much on titles. A spinner, off spinner, specialist, non-specialist, or you're a good bowler or not. And to my mind, if you don't have bowlers who are up to the standard, you can take 10 of them, it's going to make no difference. So I'm not saying that to dismiss the quality of the West Indies fast bowlers, of West Indies spin bowlers. What I'm saying is that the emphasis should not be on taking spin because you're going to somewhere where you think spin will be helpful. You've got to look and make sure you've got spinners who are good enough to exploit that. I remember Tino Best running about the Bangladeshi batsman in Bangladesh with a hamstring issue and all strapped up. I have seen fast bowlers on supposedly dead tracks cause problems for batsmen. In fact, even in the first day's play, Gabriel got a couple of balls at some point when I was watching. Gabriel in a good spell. That one was a close catch to one that Mosey bumps just ahead of Mosey. A couple more that bumps in no man's land, and the commentators were making the point that really and truly West Indies should have started with a more attacking feel, and that short leg was important from the start. Bishop called for a leg slip or a leg gully. I mean, until they could call for it anymore. So I think, having said all that, that what our shortcoming is not necessarily only our batting and the quality of our spin bowlers and the availability of outstanding fast bowlers. I think our biggest problem right now is tactical awareness. Because even with the bowling attack we had last night, or I should say in the first day, when people would want to say that the team's a second string team, it's this, it's that, it's the next. Opportunities were created, okay? And we could see where more opportunities could have been created were it not for poor tactical awareness.
Well, as far as the spin bowling is concerned, Philip, I think that we in the West Indies, and when I say we, I'm talking about the authorities, I'm talking about us fans and all these stakeholders concerned. In this area of spin bowler, we have to work out to ourselves. Do we need a spin bowler? Do we need a world-class spin bowler in our outfit, in our lineup? And the only way you are going to get a world-class spin bowler is if you pay the price and invest in the bowler, which means you must have him play. You must have a person who is going to play in the West Indies side as against the Jamel Warrican. Let me take this example. Jamel Warrican last played for the West Indies when we went to India to play Afghanistan because we were going to the subcontinent. Jamel Warrican could not even make 25 West Indies, a team of 25 West Indies players because we were not going to the subcontinent.
And sorry to cross you there, Reid. Sorry to cross you there, and you expect him to win your match. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying.
You've not brought the guy back after all this time, and you want him to win. You
expect him to come and drop on top of the world and dominate Bangladesh. What I'm
saying Bangladesh is that if we want
a top class spin bowler, we must understand that we have to pay the price. And what that price
I am 100% with you.
What that price means is that sometimes he's going to fail. Sometimes he's not going to deliver. He's going to have his good days and his bad days, but you have to invest and pay that price. And it's only by playing consistently that we're going to develop that spin bowler.
So when you clearly understand what I meant earlier then when I said that I tend not to be surprised by the choices made by our selectors because I've noticed a lack of planning over the years. And that's just the sort of thing I'm talking about. Yes, Hartley, the Bangladeshis played 4 spin bowlers, but those 4 spin bowlers, and if I'm wrong, correct me, were responsible for virtually all 40 wickets the last time we toured. Those are 4 spin bowlers who have done it before, who get the opportunity to practice their craft as often as Bangladesh's participation in Test cricket alone. We are bringing people. Cornwall played a Test match and got 10 wickets, and then we decided, I don't know what we decided, that he was lucky to get the 10 wickets that the opposition was for. I don't know what the thinking was, but this is only his 2nd Test match since then. So he missed out on 2 Test matches in England and 2 Test matches in New Zealand. And now you're bringing him back after you've done everything possible to damage his confidence and say, win us a Test match. He could be joking.
Philip, when I heard you talk about tactical, you talk about tactical when it comes to the back room and not with the captain tactics, because there was no tactical, there weren't any tactical errors apart from the taking of the new ball last night. You know, I want you all to remember that Bonner didn't even bowl. You all can remember how that Bonner bowls leg spin. And the balls, Bonner has done a lot of bowling.
But all that, Hardy, you just made a point and then contradicted it, because the fact that Bonner didn't bowl is for the support for that lack of tactical awareness. But it's not only the new ball issue. It was the fact that you started without the close fielders, the short leg, whatever in front or behind. And then as things evolved, you then put the man there. When really truly, as one of the commentators pointed out, there being Ian Bishop, you're not going to lose a Test match in the first half hour. So what is wrong with starting with the attacking field? What's wrong with starting with the attacking field? And then you can move a fielder if you then have to go on the defense because the batsmen are dealing with
Philip, did any ball within those first 3 overs from Bishop,
that's exactly what Bishop, that's what Bishop
any ball go through leg slip in the air, leg gully in the air?
Hartley. Hartley. We all can be wise after the event. Okay, we talk about the glory days.
No, I
let me
don't watch that
respond.
event.
Let me respond. Let's talk about the glory days. Okay? Those fast bowlers were turned out to be great fast bowlers, but they weren't great from the first test match. They developed like anybody else. None of them came into the first test match that they played being great. Malcolm Marshall had won first class game before he got called up for the West Indies side, just as an example. So you've got to do what you can to develop players into greatness. If you're going to start a test match with the assumption that Gabriel, especially, who is our sharpest bowler in terms of speed, is not going to get the edge or is not going to create difficulty for the batsman, then why are you playing? So there's absolutely nothing wrong. You don't know that the ball is going to go to slip, but you would expect that if you have your fastest bowler playing, okay, that you may get an edge to slip, that you may get a ball that may create difficulty for a batting side that has never shown a love for fast bowling. So yes, we may disagree, Hartley, and that's fine. But I will make the argument that our tactical awareness, there's much improvement that could be made there. Now, this is not a Frank Braffett thing.
Philip,
Whoever the captain is, we've had that issue.
wait a minute, Philip. Philip, wait a minute. Because when I saw Gabriel and also Mears predominantly attacking the leg side, I said to myself, but they are bowling the wrong line. Unless they had worked out that the Bangladesh batsmen were so strong on the offside that they were bowling leg stump. So I cannot understand what kind of tactical brilliance a captain will be doing bowling leg gully and leg slip. But a man bowling leg stump all the time, because we have come along saying for years that leg stump bowling for your fast bowler is bad bowling. But I saw it last night.
I don't want to belabor that point, Philip, if I may jump in here, although I guess they may have been taking an example from something we saw in Australia in that series that was just completed, where the Indians actually decided that the best way to restrict the Australian batting, particularly that guy Steve Smith, who had been scoring at will wherever he went in the world, and to a lesser extent, Marnus Labuschagne, they were able to restrict them and also get them out by bowling that leg stump. But that was a concerted, organized plan. That was something that was decided and planned months in advance. So, but I don't want to belabor that point. I don't know if we want to go forward from here.
Yeah, we do need to go forward, and that's something we can go back to. But just to wrap up on that issue though, because Hartley did make the comment about his disagreement with the leg stump line, which again supports the whole thing of tactical awareness. So I'm not really so sure. Maybe Hartley would need to take that up with us at a later point, but we got some time issues here. So yeah, we do need to go forward, and I know that Ayana too wants to jump in. But before Ayana jumps in, you were making a point. Or you're about to make a point in moving forward.
Well, no, I was just saying that the game now going forward, at this point, the game is very delicately poised. West Indies' chances in this match very much depend on making some early breakthroughs and keeping the Bangladesh first innings, I think, below 350. Anything more than 350 basically puts us under tremendous pressure. Hartley talked about before spinners. Is going to be a serious examination against quality spin bowling on a pitch which is offering some assistance already and which will deteriorate. I mean, the template that the Bangladeshis use for winning test matches at home is clear and plain. They have already accomplished mission number one. Mission number one is to win the toss and set up a first innings. After that, the pitch continues to deteriorate and their spinners come more and more into the game. So I think West Indies' only hope is to try to get these last 5 wickets for the addition of no more than 100 runs, let's say. Otherwise, I think it is good night, nurse. And I know I mean Ashley Nurse.
I don't know how often it happens to you, but you have the last word.
Just wanted to say my 2 cents worth on the whole tactical awareness, and it is different to the previous views because I saw some plans in motion watching the 2 sessions last night. I was a bit in and out in the 3rd session. I was tired, But I saw some plans in motion, and I know that we all have difference in opinions of what the plan should be and stuff like that. But this is one time that I think kudos should go to the captain and the team for trying to set up certain wickets. The guy Momina Hack, as soon as he came in, Shannon came back, and you clearly saw that the intention was to attacking with sharp bowling. So I believe that if we continue again with the consistency and discipline tomorrow, we need to get Shakib and the guy Little and Das to get into that bottom order. And as Wayne said, restrict Bangladesh to less than 350.
Guys, we can go at it all day. Why? We are passionate about this sport called cricket, and we are passionate about West Indies cricket especially. But we've got to go, we've got to get some rest, I'm sure, to prepare ourselves for day 2, because it's going to be another long haul. And I want all of you are fresh for your contribution, not only tomorrow, but over the remainder of the test match. Thanks to Ayana Holder, Hartley, Reid, and Ayana Holder. Philip Hackett, on behalf of them, saying goodbye from Anything Cricket. Test match watch.